In our YouTube channel and podcast, You Can Be the Change. Today, I have with me two handsome boys, Sam and Amog, and we would be talking about college and hostel life. I know them since childhood. I think one is born in front of me. The other, I know him since he was 3.5 years old. So pretty, yes, pretty like almost like since they were born. So of course I've seen them grow, and I've seen them how young and smart boys they have turned out to be. And I thought, why not talk to both of you about how the college life is treating you and how's the hostel life treating you as well. Of course, two different countries altogether. Sam, you are based out of United States, and Amog, you are based out of India. So we would also want to know about what's the difference in the culture, what's the difference in adjusting to different cultures as well, and is the college life, is the all the musty that you do in college is same or it is different, and if it is different, how different it is. So before we start digging in and getting into the all the fun stuff, I would just want to know what you really are doing in college. So Sam, we'll start with you, and then probably Among, if you can follow.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name is Shashwat Kumar, obviously, but some of the things that I do in college is I'm majoring in computer science, and I'm also have a lot. I also have a lot of involvements in a bunch of clubs. So I do like mainly UX research. That's one of the things I do in a club, and then I also do a lot of marketing for other clubs. But yeah, and I'm also in my. I just finished my third year, so I'm going into my fourth year of college.
Awesome. Oh, no, awesome. And you're doing it from Dallas, right? Dallas,
Yes.
Texas.
Yeah,
Awesome.
the college is
Okay.
based in Dallas, Texas.
Ah, nice. Awesome. Amok?
Oh, good. I'm currently pursuing my second year in Bachelor's of Business Administration. I'm basically involved in a lot of debates and business competitions all across Gujarat, basically traveling a lot for these competitions and everything. And that's basically it. About to end my second year in college and about to enter the final year of college life, I guess.
Awesome. Oh, wow. Okay. All grown up, guy. I didn't even realize now you're making me feel old. Enough, right? I mean, being your aunt and realizing that, you guys have been literally born in front of me, and now you are in on the verge of completing your college. So, talking about college life and hostel life, you both are living in different. I mean, other place than your home place, right? I mean, you're not living with your parents and in the college, right? So, if I may want to understand. Was it difficult for the first time when you got into college and of course meeting new people, new friends altogether, because usually you do not carry the same school friends to college, right? So it's a difference in college friends versus, of course, your school friends. Then there's a different setup because you move to a different city altogether. So adjusting to that different city and kind of surroundings, as well as you do not have that parent support all the time. Like, of course, parents are there, but they're not there. Like you're not going, can't go to them all the time. So what are the challenges and what are the pros that you kind of saw in that in your college life and hostel life?
I personally think there's a lot of pros and cons. For me, I'm not like very far away from home, but I'm like a good enough far like length away that it's inconvenient, but also it's not super far away because I know friends that travel multiple states to get to there. Some people have to take a flight to, get to their college. So it's more convenient for me because I'm like 4.5 hours away. But definitely one of the things is making new friends and making new connections when you first get to a college. Because everyone is in the same position that you're in, right? No one there, like on very rare occasions, there's people that actually know other people. So when you're going in as a freshman, when you're going in as a fresher, you need to make friends, right? And we have a system in our college where like it's like hostel type, right? Where we call them dorms. So basically, with dorms, you have three other roommates. At least that's how it worked in my college. You would have three other roommates, and like beginning college life, those were like the only two other people that I had talked to for like the first week. And one of them was my friend from high school. So, we got along really well. And one of them was like completely random person I met, but I had to be friendly with him. I had to get to know him because I was going to live with him for like the next whole year. So, it's really important to get to know him. And then through him, I met like four other people, and then he met four or five other people through me, and then we created a little friend group. So it was like that. Like, you need to spread your connections, kind of network with friends, I guess. So you get to meet newer people, you get to make newer connections, because there's also a lot of people I know that just don't make friends. They just sit in their room all day, and they, like, they're more like lonely and stuff. And it's like, I feel like it's really easy to make friends. So coming from someone who didn't have many friends in high school, I had a very closed group. I had like maybe four or five people that I really like was like actually talking to. So coming to college, that completely changed for me. I went from having four to five close friends to having eight to nine close, and then like at least 20 relative friends, right?
Wow.
So there was a really big change in, socializing, at least for me. So it was very different. It was very different.
How about you, Amog? Is it similar to what Sam is sharing, or yours is
Very similar
different?
to what Sam said, because my school days I was very close. I didn't have a lot of friends, or I have very a short list of friends. But to be honest, it hasn't been very difficult to make friends for me. I'm very extroverted and talking, and I talk too much in college, I guess. So for the initial few weeks, it was quite easy to make friends, and I guess everyone is on a fresh note, so there's no uh, past knowledge about anyone. So whatever you give to them, that's interesting to them. So in the initial few months, I made a lot of friends in college. After that, it got a little slower because everybody was engaged in their classes, and because it was a COVID batch, our schedules were shifted, and the exam pressure was high. But yeah, it's a little bit inconvenient going so far because, like you, which is a little closer, I have a 12-hour train to take, or almost a 3-hour flight from where I live. It's quite difficult for the first few months, but I guess the pros and cons weigh out each other. Living in a hostel, to be honest, till date, for 2 years now, I haven't really talked to my roommates a lot because I don't gel up with them, and they are completely different courses and completely different people from different parts of the country, and they don't get Hindi or English very well. So it's very difficult to communicate with them at a lot of times. But it's great, I guess.
Okay. Well, so I think you touched a good point, Amol, that it's not necessarily that you're living in a dorm or a room where you're sharing you have room partners, and it is not necessary that you are able to share. Uh, I mean, share your feelings or share be friends with your room partners, and we've heard that there's an element of I would say I would not use the word like specifically bullying, but then there are raggings and in the hostel versus college. So how did that happen with you guys both? And if that happened, how did you take that over? I mean, like, was it like fun? Or was it more of like, oh my God, we have to get through this? So, and it was difficult. So, how did you guys take that, knowing that you do not have a support system in your hostel as well? Like they are friends you cannot just open up with as well. So how did you manage that?
I think ragging is something that is, not very common in the States, I would say. And I think also the college system is put in place to eliminate ragging, because we are set in dorms, which is completely different from like the living quarters of the upperclassmen. So all the underclassmen are put together, and all the upperclassmen are in like a complete different area. So when you have roommates, it's not going to be like completely random people. There is some specifications, right? So I was enrolled in a dorm called an LLC, which stands for Living Learning Communities, which means that the roommates you're going to get are like going to be specifically the same major as you. So how it worked was the first floor, like the floors were divided into majors. So I was on the third floor, which was the computer science slash software engineering. So people you I was living with were people that was taking the same classes as me. They were doing the same homework as me. They were taking the same professors or very similar professors as me, and similar courses. So I think that kind of promoted like a better environment for us to become friends, and kind of we had something to talk about, right? We could study together. We could, like talk about the same classes, talk about the same coursework. So it was easier that way for us to become friends, and we had something in common with all of us. So I think in that sense, I think it made it easier for me to make friends in dorms. But kind of what Amok said, that, he doesn't talk to his roommates that often because they're completely different. I feel like that also comes in play when you just don't vibe with that person, right? Out of the three people at the freshman year that I was talking to, one of them is my best friend right now, and the other one I don't talk to anymore. And the one that I don't talk to anymore was my best friend in high school. And the new person I met is the person who's actually my best friend now. So you never know what's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
completely different. You're gonna make new connections, you're gonna find new people that you're closer with. So that's how the groups are kind of gonna change.
So true. And how about you, Amog? Like, of course, Sam told about that, in US, there are different, I mean, like, but you mentioned that your roommates are in different, you know, kind of academic structure, different from you. So how do you, and is there ragging in your hostel as well? And did you go through that?
About ragging, there is completely zero ragging, to be honest. Nothing happened. I expected something to happen. I wanted a little bit of it to happen so that I can tell other people, but there was completely nothing. To be honest, I am the one who ragged juniors when they came for the first year because I wanted to
Oh
do
my God.
something. And ragged, it was just to ask them to be in a line and
Introduction.
call me sir, not bhaiya.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But there's no ragging or, to be honest, in the hostel, nobody cares about anyone. There are very few people that talk to each other because all of them are so involved in their own lives. And I don't know if it is a government college thing or anything, but the students in the hostel living there aren't very privileged. So they don't care about enjoying, to be honest. I don't know why. They're at 6, they wake up, they go to their cricket training or anything, or they attend their classes, and they enter the hostel at 11 and they sleep. We don't talk to each other very much, to be honest. And in specifically my hostel rooms, I'm very lucky to have decent ones because a lot of them are very wild. Or uh, let me tell you an instance: we have connected balconies for the two rooms, and it was 1 in the night, and I was sleeping, and my roommate woke me up. और कहता कुछ जलने की बदबू आ रही है. And I said, क्या हुआ? We went into the balcony, and the roommates were burning a cushion because it was cold. They were burning a cushion and they were dancing around it. It looked like a tribal sacrifice or something. But random, and we don't know each other. That's like in the first 2 months, 3 months, and we six boys are vibing to a burning cushion, burning pillow. It's very weird and it's very random in college. But bullying was not a part that I experienced for the better part of it. And I don't think you should go through it, but it's an experience which I haven't had.
I
I think I
think,
agree where I was kind of hoping something would happen. And not even hoping, but I was like,
Yeah,
speculating that something will happen, something new is there's definitely a lot of randomness. I agree with that. You
yeah.
meet new people and then you realize, wow, the way this person does certain things is completely different from how I do
yeah.
certain things. And something that you might seem okay to you might seem crazy to someone else, and something that seems like okay to someone else might seem crazy to you, and it's completely different.
So, so this was really funny. But then I think that's what makes the college life so interesting as well, right? Where you're doing random
Yeah.
things. But tell me, like, how did you maneuver? Like, you guys have survived your 2 or 3 years in hostel and college now. So how did you maneuver through it? And of course, studies are the focus as well, right? So, like Amog, you said that there are kids in your hostel whose focus is wake up, go for whatever the chores they have to do for the day, and then come back, have food, and sleep, right? But I think today's life, you need extracurricular hobbies as well, or you need I would say that zing to life, right? And especially with
Yeah.
young boys like you, that should always be there. So how do you guys, with all this craziness going in hostel, and then the college, of course, being very strict, like you have to study, you have to get your grades as well, and you probably both have to get, like, are focused on your grades because that helps you get your job, or get placed as well. So how do you kind of get that balance with parent supervision, zero, and I rather you do not want that, I think, at this age. But then you have this craziness going, college, and then hobbies also. How do you guys kind of bring that back?
I think when you first get to college, you kind of have this sense that like you're free. You can do whatever, you have free will. You can do anything and everything you want to do. And then like that kind of gratification only lasts for like a week. And then you're like, it's not that great. Like I can do whatever I want, but like, now I miss my mom. I wish I had food every time, like, makin haka khana, like you miss that.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, it's not as great as I like I thought it would be. But honestly, I feel like the fun part of your like college life only lasts for like 1.5 years. Because that's when you kind of, you have the exploration phase where you're meeting new people, you're in a new place, right? You're changing your lifestyle a little bit. But then I think after 1.5 or like around 2 years, you kind of settle where you're like, okay, now I know like I have my group of friends that I hang out with. I have like a schedule that I follow. I know what I'm doing in my life. Like I know I have my future planned, at least, until the end of college. I have something planned. I know what I'm doing. So that sort of thing, you kind of like you get that sense as you just like go through college life, as you go through classes and you start realizing, okay, I'm getting closer to graduating. I'm getting closer to, even realer life. And I think this is like a pattern. It happens like when you're born, you're like, okay, fun and games, nothing serious. Then you go to school and you're like, okay, time to be serious. Then you go to college and then you're like, okay, fun and games. Halfway through college, you're like, okay, serious. And then when you get your job, it's going to be fun and games again for a couple of years. You're going to meet again, you're going to go through the cycle again. You're going to meet new people, new things are going to happen. And then it's going to get serious again. And then, things can change, things are going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Amol? You share the same thoughts?
It was similar, but not for the first part because I was switching streams and I had to cope up a lot for the stuff that I have to
Yeah,
get into college because I had zero knowledge about accounts or economics, anything that I had to study in the college. But yeah, almost a similar thing for the first 1 year or the first 2 semesters. It was pretty light because the college pressure was low and I didn't have any coaching or anything. So that is the time I went for a lot of competitions and I joined the college band. And I even went for a gig for a clothing line launch. So all of our band members, we went to that to perform there. So it was all good. But later the studies catch up to you and coaching is too harsh. But talking about the randomness in college, I usually go to the college library or anywhere else because it's very difficult to get the right focus in the hostel, I guess, because there's so many things happening at the same time. You just can't sit for a while and get your work to the work, get your mind to the work that you're doing. But you get used to it. For the first few months, it was very difficult for me to get a hold of myself because I wasn't able to concentrate in that surrounding. But later I got used to it because I had a automatic noise cancellation in my head, I guess, because I eliminated all the dog shouting and people calling, cussing each other in the random languages that they use there. But it was all fine later. It's the initial 6 months that you need to uh, register these stimuli, I guess. But it's fine later. It's
yeah.
fun, to be honest.
So tell me, has this college life and staying on your own and kind of venturing through things on your own, making friends or getting away from friends, or for that matter, kind of finding new people, finding your own mode of survival, has it made you guys more realization of the life ahead more? Has it made you more serious or towards life? Or is it more like, okay, yeah, everybody has gone through it. We'll also go through it and see what comes at the end of the tunnel. Is that something like share with me?
I for sure think this is if someone says that they've never had like a moment of realization or panic about their future, they're lying to you because 100% of the kids, 100% of the time have an existential crisis about their future, about what they're going to do tomorrow or the day after or the week after or the month after or the 10 years after. Everyone goes through that phase. Everyone also goes through the phase of self doubt where you're like, I don't know if I can do this. Imposter syndrome, that's what it's called. A lot of students, including me, I was someone who went through a lot of imposter syndrome where you would think that you're not good enough or you don't know what you're going to do with the rest of your life. I think that is very common in college students, at least I think at least here. I'm pretty sure this is a very common thing to happen with all students no matter where they're raised or where they're grown up. But I think eventually the stress of studies catches up to you and there's always a point in your life where you switch or a point in college life where you switch your mindset from like it's fun and games to okay, it's time to get serious, it's time to lock in, right? Like you have to like everyone goes through that realization phase. And I also think that's really important because sometimes there's it really like defines you as a person because if you have that moment, you it like that's kind of that's kind of the moment of maturity where you're like, okay, now I realize, what I have to go through for the next like 10 years. So it's better for me to get this, like, do good now so I can enjoy the rest of my life and, go through things and stuff like that.
What about you, Amok? Same thing?
Living alone, you understand a lot of things because when I started living alone, I understood how difficult it is to do laundry and to cook for yourself because I didn't have a kitchen. I couldn't cook for myself. I had to eat the mess food every day. And the two things that I got on my checklist is learn how to wash your clothes because whenever I gave my clothes for washing, they got replaced or they got torn apart. uh, and how to cook food. And another thing is a lot of financial management, I guess, because you can't study it as better as you have when you have to use that money to get what you want and also save up because you don't have to ask for it again at the end of the month to your father. But the thing is, I have to remember that कि पैसे भेज दे पापा. And I don't like doing that. So I ask my mother कि मम्मी पापा को बोल दो कि पैसे भेज दे मेरे खत्म हो रहे हैं. But it's fun. It's good to learn these things, I guess. You learn a lot how to survive on your own at times because even when I was preparing for college, there were times I would just want to go and give my mother a hug. But in college, you can't do that. It's too far. But that is when you replace these feelings with your friends because I remember it was my birthday and it was 12-ish or something. It was very late. And I was very emotional for some reason because that was my first birthday far away, and I didn't talk to my parents that much and everything. And my friend Krish was with me, and I went up to him. I told him, "मेरे को बस भाई एक बार hug करना है, and I'll be fine." So that is it. मतलब
Oh, sweet.
you collaborate with your friends and things happen. I went over to his house then. तो उसकी मम्मी ने खाना बनाया and everything. So uh, you start to value things more. पहले मुझे लगता था कि how can a person survive on 20,000, 30,000 rupees a month? But अब 10,000 रुपए जब आते हैं पापा के तो लगता है बहुत सारे पैसे आ गए, बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा इसमें तो. It's
Right, you
really
guys
fun.
find, yeah, and I think I hear from both of your mothers is like you find deals for having food also. Like, okay, this is on deal,
Yeah.
so so
I
we'll
remember
order
there's
this.
a wiring in my head that I never open the food app and search for what I want to have. I go to the offers and from the offers I select what I want to have.
I think
I
Sam
don't I
does
don't
this
decide
too.
my food. My offers decide my food for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Offers decide
Yeah.
my food.
Oh my God, what a drastic change.
I think that is true.
Yeah.
Sorry. I agree with that, where it's like you start because your parents can teach you a lot about life, and that's true, but nothing's gonna teach you as much as just you like throwing yourself by yourself. Like
Yeah.
just that like, panic, I'd say. Like that like realization that okay, I'm alone from here now. I need to like survive on my own, right? That teaches you the most, I'd say, out of anything because you have to really start thinking about yourself. You have to start like managing things that you never had to think about. I never had to manage money for myself. I never had to, calculate taxes or do any of that. But now that's stuff I need to actually start thinking about because, that's stuff that I need to do in the future. I need to do now. And, I just new things you have to learn every day and you just have to cope with that.
Yeah, so true, so true. Now, I know that both of you guys share a common hobby that's for singing. And I would not let you guys go before you both sing me a few lines, right? I mean, song of your choice, Sam and Amok both. I really want you guys to sing me a few lines. So whoever wants to start first.
Um,
No, no, no. I think you should go.
I think you should.
No, no, no. I really think I
Oh,
think
I
you
don't
should
have a
go.
come
song in
on.
my mind right
Come on.
I
Don't
my actually my throat's kind of bad today.
It's
I don't know
okay.
what it
It's
is.
okay. Nobody's judging you for singing. So, Sam, go ahead.
Well, the thing is,
You.
I'm more of a producer than I am a
Mhm.
singer. I like singing because my dad does it a lot and he's taught me a lot of stuff about singing and I've grown up with hearing my dad in the background just singing all the time. He's using the door as a tabla sometimes and he's just vibing on his own every now and then. And that kind of was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And so I got into like that's why I kind of like I was brought up with music. But
Mhm.
when it really came to like learning music, I used to have my iPad with myself. My mom bought me an iPad and I was really excited and I was going through all of the apps on it and one of the apps was GarageBand. which is, a lot of people
Yeah.
use it to make music. And that was the first thing I started using. I was just messing around with it. And, slowly messing around turned into actually like putting in hours into that. I used to like literally come back from school, open my iPad and work on the last project I was working on because I wanted this song to be good. And then, the realization hits you when you upload it and then you get 0 views. And then you start watching like YouTube tutorials on how to make music better. And then it slowly turns from like something that you're interested in, it turns into a hobby. It turns into something that, you really want to pursue. Because
Yeah.
I'm at the point where like, music is more than just a hobby to me. It's almost like a business idea.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
at that point where I'm like that invested into it.
So just two lines
Some
from whatever
friends who are
you sing with
producing
your dad.
music a lot.
Yeah, whatever you sing with your dad. Why don't you just sing that for us?
I don't sing with my the thing is I don't sing in
Like
Hindi. My
that's
accent is really
okay.
bad.
That's
I,
okay. Sing an English song. We're fine with that too.
Okay, I'll sing the song I made like most recently. It's
Yeah.
Can I get a text back? I would really dig that. I would never think back to the lies you told me. Can I get a call back? Even though you hate that. No way you can backtrack. I'll be on my lonely.
Awesome. Nice.
Obviously, there's a lot of processing that goes through my
Yeah.
vocals, but that's a
Yeah.
completely
No, I
different
loved
story.
it. Oh, that's nice. Wow. Amok, up to you now. Go
I
ahead.
don't produce songs, so I will sing one that is already made or that is already very popular.
Yeah. Go ahead.
बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं ये धरती ये नदियाँ ये रहना और तुम बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं.
Awesome.
That's it.
So nice. I loved both of you singing. And thank you guys. Thanks for being on my podcast show. And I really enjoyed talking to both of you and wish you both very all the best. I know, another year or so, and you would be getting into the corporate world, ready to
Real real
face the
world.
corporate world. Yeah. So all the best for that. And I'll be talking much more with you guys. Maybe once you get your first job, then talking about how does that experience looks like, right? So thank you so much and wishing you both all the
Thanks.
very best.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having us on the podcast. It was an honor.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.